to the TBC version 5.10 What's New video on the new Detect Crossing Geometry command that will, you guess it, try to detect crossing geometry for you in your drawing. These geometry can be both native TBC line work or line work coming in from another source via DXF, DWG, imported of that fashion. So let's dive right in. I'll show you what this thing can do. This is a large topo project, a lot going on here. You can see a lot of different vectors here with a bunch of different jobs being imported. I can tell that from my project explorer here along the side. I'm going to use the view filter manager. Go ahead and turn off those total station observations really quickly. Working with the raw data here in TBC, not just XYZ points. And you can see formation of a road with some side collector roads, some parking lots in here, and a very, very large topo survey. So before, if I was the customer wanting to see a finished grade model, line work, surfaces and things, I wouldn't want to have any duplicate or crossing geometry that could cause any sort of skew in the surface or extra line work or data. Just nice and cleaned up drawing. So using this new inspection tool that we've got in TBC version 5.10, the Detect Crossing Geometry command can really, really help me as a TBC user get that client, that customer, that nice line work and final deliverable. So to do that, I can launch the command, which is in the CAD tab over in the Data sub-tab, and here it is, Detect Crossing Geometry. Clicking on that, you get a selection window. I'm going to go ahead and use the options and say Select All. And if I have selected anything that isn't eligible for this command, not supported, they would see a difference here in the numbers. I get a vertical tolerance, which is optional. If you don't set anything here, it'll pick up everything. I do have the option to exclude objects with undefined or zero elevations. I'm not going to check that right now. I just want to say apply and show you what this thing can do. So here in the plan view, you can see a whole bunch of new flags everywhere that a detection of a geometry crossing was found. So the higher geometry and lower geometry listed here in the table, each one of these entries here correspond to a crossing geometry point in the drawing. There's a new class of flags you can see in the View Filter Manager under the Flags tab. The crossing geometry flag now exists as well. And over here in the tab, you can see a list of higher geometry, lower geometry, where that X and the Y or northing and easting position is. Let me expand a little bit, you can see a little more. And then what that actual vertical difference was. These are sortable by clicking on each of the headers here. You can see the greatest difference. I've got a line work here and that crosses at 9.45 feet. And you'll notice here as I click through these differences and highlight them, my plan view dynamically updates to show me where those are. So with these crosses detected, I can choose to do something. One of those routines is resides in the Data Prep tab called Project Cleanup. What Project Cleanup will do is, among other things, go through and remove all duplicate text and duplicate crossing geometries for you automatically. I'm going to hit apply and just have this thing run through. These two commands run really well together, as you'll see. Great, that was completed. That crossing geometry command is in the Data Prep and Project Cleanup, if you caught that. I'm going to remove all the flags in my detect crossing geometry, zoom back out here, select all of the geometry again. Oh, and already I can see my selection was way down. Run apply. And then you can see there was a significant reduction in flags. This, for example, in here. If you did want a vertical tolerance, let's say you were only looking for uh, crosses that were less than a certain value. So let me sort through the vertical tolerance differences again. I still have my 9.45 foot difference as a maximum. Let me say I only want to put in, I only want to detect things that are 3 inches difference, 0.25 feet. And I'll also exclude objects with the undefined or 0 elevations. That should remove these question marks here. I'll go ahead here and make sure to select all my geometry. Run the command again with the apply button. And then sorting all of the flags that I have, you can see everything that's 3 inches or less are reported on. And also those question marks went away because there was some line work in here with some undefined values. So now from here, I can go through and investigate all of these different crosses. I can run a report from the command there in the bottom left corner. And the resulting report looks like the TBC reports where you can put in your customer information and information on their project, the project data file, the coordinate system, with a list of all of those crosses.